Welcome back guys to another Link Evolution deck video. This time I'm bringing along the requested Utopia deck profile from Zexel, which has received some good support with the update. In all honesty, out of all the protagonist decks, this is the one that I had the least knowledge on, but it isn't too hard to pick up luckily. Utopia, or Onomato, or whatever the proper name is for the deck, is a simple rank 4 Xyz spam deck revolving around the Gagaga, Gogogo, Dododo, and Zubababanchou cards used by Yoma and Zexel. These names are reckless to try and say without getting tongue twisted sometimes, but it is important to know the difference as some of the monster effects revolve around a specific name sometimes. This deck struggled a bit in the past, but with the update we got some amazing main deck monsters to help with flooding the field for XC plays. Starting with the most important one, we have Utopic Onomatopoeia, who looks like a chibi version of Utopia. Mini Utopia here is amazing for two reasons, and those are his two effects. One, he is treated as a Gagaga, Dododo, Gogogo, and Zubaba monster at all times, which helps with fulfilling some effect requirements for your other monsters like I mentioned before. Two, he can special summon a squadron of said monsters from your hand, up to one of each name. This is pretty much one of your best starters as it sets up your field for 2, sometimes 3 XC summons in one turn. He is also the only monster searchable by Onomatopickup, an important continuous spell card if you choose not to use Onomatopaira. The next two monsters follow up pretty well with Mini Utopia, and those are Zubababanchou Gagaga Coat and Dododo Dwarf Gogogo Glove. Like I said, tongue twister, so we will stick with the coat and the glove. Coat can special summon himself from the hand if you control a monster with the same prefix as him, while Glove can special summon himself from the graveyard if you control a monster with his prefix. This is why Mini Utopia is important, as it fulfills both of their requirements by counting as all of those prefixes no matter what. Glove and Coat also have additional effects on top of that, Coat being able to revive a monster without his prefix from the grave, and Glove being able to special summon a monster from their hand without his. Learning these effects is pretty important, but as you can see there is a pattern with them, so it's good to remember for spamming the field in duels. Alongside this amazing trio, I am running a small lineup of monsters to assist them. The Gagaga lineup is pretty nice, as Sister can get you Utopia beyond with a level 4 monster, or if you have Clerk you can go into another rank 4 XC. It also searches a Gagaga spell, which will mainly be Gagagarevenge, a decent revival spell. Gogogo Giant is another form of recovery that can be useful in a pinch as well. I initially ran a small monster lineup with one less Magician, Sister, and Clerk, but I found myself not seeing monsters often enough, which is the name of the game, so I bumped it up. As I mentioned before, Onomatopickup is a nice search spell to get you Onomatopaira, which is even better as it adds multiple monsters to your hand. Pickup can also make all of your monsters mimic the level of one monster of your choosing, so this comes in handy for your Gagaga lineup, especially Child, who will usually force you to skip your battle phase. The last card I really want to touch on is Xyz Change Tactics, which lets you draw every time you summon a Utopia monster. This card can be nuts, as you can easily climb from double into Utopia followed by Prime, and so on depending on your needs, which can get you 3 cards easily sometimes. I didn't see this card enough, but it does help if you can open it. I'm also running Gagagabolt, which is just a funny inside joke, but you can easily replace this for whatever. It did save my skin sometimes though, as mega gaming can admit though. For the extra deck, as expected, you can run into almost every Utopia monster here, or at least the best ones. By now, the value of double or nothing should be obvious, but this deck can do neat things like summon Beyond or Lightning after double's effect, and then you can make a separate Utopia to negate the attack. The rank up magics are mainly for discarding to make Zexal and Dragon, but you can use Numeron Force for the rare Utopia victory play, which gives you that Dark Ruler effect on steroids. Aside from that, the rest of the rank 4 lineup falls into preference once again, but some of my choices are too good to pass up. Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops is the lone link monster, as when you activate your main deck monster effects, you cannot summon anything from the extra deck except XC monsters. Megaclops is good for scenarios if you go first with Bagooska, Utopia, and another XC monster and your opponent fails to deal with them on his next turn. Sadly, this didn't come up too often, but it's still an amazing option to go into. I did summon him once, but that was a long and painful duel that I decided to spare you guys from sitting through. For replay as usual, I want to showcase a good outcome with this deck with a decent opening hand. I didn't practice as much as I would have liked with this deck, but I did have quite a bit of fun on the ladder while streaming. As you can see, we have our Searcher card Onomatopickup and Xyz Change Tactics, 2 cards I think are amazing to see in your opening hand. With Pickup we can search Onomatopaira, and with Xyz Change Tactics we can draw every time we summon a Utopia monster at the cost of 500 life points. We're facing rockets, which is pretty rare for me, so this duel did have the potential to go south. Our opponent, however, is playing some interesting choices though, so in the end he doesn't quite end his turn on the scary board with disruption of any source that I can tell. We could have had some better cards in our hand instead of 2 Coat, but we can use 1 as a cost to discard for Pyra luckily. Gagagabolt oddly enough also helps us pop the scary back row our opponent has set, which is something I've been wary of in matches since the latter is so random. With the Onomatopaira we are getting, I can easily see myself summoning 3 Xyz monsters this turn if our opponent doesn't stop us thanks to the sequence I'm going to show once our turn hits. This deck can spend itself pretty quick though, and I think a personal weakness of mine with the deck was overextending too much and not having any plays after. That's why seeing things like Xyz Change Tactics was always a plus for me. Anyway, as you can see now, I've searched the missing monsters we needed, mainly Mini Utopia and the Glove. Since we had code already and drew into another Gagaga, we are good to go. Like I brought up before, learning the prefix names will be important to reuse our monster materials. You always want to use Glove first and your random monster to overlay first. That way Coat can revive the Glove for the next Xyz summon. From there you want to use Glove and Coat, detaching Glove once again since he can revive himself with a Gogogo monster on the field, which will always be Mini Utopia since the other Gogogo monster we run in the deck is Giant. I do go Tornado Dragon here to finish sniping back row, but this can easily be Dugaris or Abyss Dweller depending on your needs. I do chain double too quick as well and miss a draw off tactic because of timing miss, but it doesn't hurt us too bad. Since we can still summon 1 more rank 4 after Beyond here, we can save that last Xyz summon for Utopia and utilize Beyond to attack for lethal with double or nothing, since he will be dropping attack points to 0. You can use the same strategy going first, but instead of Beyond you can go into something defensive like Bagooska, or if you have a rank up you can go into Zexal. That wraps things up though, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the replays, and like, comment, and subscribe.